What's going on, everybody? It's Retro Handhelds 24. I did find out some interesting information about not just the Odin 3, but other devices, and we're going to go into that today. First off, I do want to apologize about yesterday. I know I kind of got carried away. But in all reality, yeah, my device has the slower RAM too. Just so you guys know, does not matter. They gave me the slower RAM. But I'm confused, and I didn't have much time again, unfortunately. Kind of have a new position now, so it's taking up more time. And I was trying my best to figure this out, but I just don't study the RAM, and I didn't have time to study RAM. But I did go over it, at least with AI, just to make a comparison. And one of the lovely people in the comments told me what app they used that was the most simple to figure out what kind of RAM you have, or just do the math to figure out what kind of RAM speed you have. And I'm trying to install it on ZY700. It's the CPDT app, and I did a bunch of tests. And by a bunch, I mean I just tested every device that I could. And the Odin 3 did come out top, but we'll go over. It's bad, but it's not so bad, What's really bad is what I'm going to tell you guys. And yesterday I would have said something that I would have regretted more than just going off on it, I feel bad about it because I know there was one person that he got upset with me and he unsubscribed. And it wasn't because the Odin 3. It was because I mentioned the Konkr FIT. Well, the Konkr FIT and the Pocket 2S Pro are going to be involved in this as well. So don't get that twisted. Just give me 1 second though. I'm just checking something on my phone. I'm doing one last test on the Y700. Here, I'll pause it, and then we'll go over those results too. Okay, we're done. So, I don't know, because I'm done doing this because I don't want to give people the wrong idea about my channel. We're gonna go back to emulation. I'm just doing this because, like I said, I was upset and finding out that it's true even in my device, and that was before I got home from work to test it. I already knew it was true because there was no way around it. It was just how slow was it, and we're gonna get into that. So I kind of throughout the day at work I accepted it, but I was like, so we're just gonna have to move on from it. It kind of sucks, but AYN did put out a message in their Discord stating that yeah, they took it down before the sales went live because they weren't going to be able to do that. I'm gonna just stop there. Just remember that, okay? Because they said they took it down before the pre-orders went live, and that's true. But we're gonna stop there. We're going to just now focus on the Y700, and then we'll go back to everything else. So the Y700 does worse than the Odin 3, but not by much, okay? We'll just do, for me, this is the simplest way, is memory copying, right? So the Odin 3 gets 26. We got 24. So it's on par with the Odin 3. Just keep that in mind. And I thought this was more legit, because Lenovo. I thought they would just take the stuff out of the cell phone, the same RAM and all that, but no, apparently not. Okay. Now you guys feel free to put your comments, but just try to go easy on me, okay? Just go easy. So according to my phone, and we'll turn off the lights now. Blah. Okay, according to my phone, the Odin 3 and the Y700 have like LPDDR5. Everything else you see on this table has LPDDR4X. Everything else. This has slower. This has. I thought this was good. This has the slowest speeds. This has slow speeds. This has slow speeds. These are like tied. Okay, so I thought there was something up with these two. So this is like 26. Y Summer's 20. What was it? 25. We just took a picture of. It was just about 24.52. These two are like 20. This is 18. And that's just memory copying gigs, right? So this is the slowest. So you guys could correct me if I'm wrong. But let me just go over here because okay, let's see. Okay, we'll stop there and we'll go here. So I went on Google and I just, I Googled Odin 2, right? When this came out 2 years ago. Indiegogo. And I wanted to see if it was still up there because, on Indiegogo, they give you everything. Like all the specs. Check this out, check it out. Look at that. Look at that. What is that? What does that say? Right? Now it's a screenshot, so it's like, actually, this is the website. There you go. So I took a screenshot of this, right? I was pissed. I was like, wait a minute. Have we been bamboozled this entire time? Okay. Not this. Okay, you're going to see how much now this doesn't matter. Okay. Even though it was a lie, but just keep it in mind how good the Odin 2 is still and was. Keep that in mind, okay? Because I asked AI, I was like, hey, according to these results on here, and I took a screenshot and sent it to AI. I was like, and according to the website, does this all match up or is this incorrect? Because I don't know anything about RAM speeds or anything like that, but I'm just going based off this picture. Can you justify this? This is what it said. Okay. False. We've been lied to for years. And your Odin 2 Max shows 18.61. So it's kind of true, kind of, right? Hit the minimum, or it says half of 4.0 US. You could just take this for what it is, and if you haven't, I have just all these devices, so it's like I could just do it, right? And see what it says and see what happens and see what the results are. And I don't know. Like, I know how to emulate stuff, but when it comes to RAM and speeds and how that works, read and write and copying, I've never tried to compare it. This is the first time. So of course I used AI to help me out, and AI is wonky a lot of the times, but I was like, this is pretty basic with that app. It just tells you the 4 common things: copy, read, write, random, and then just tell me what that compares to what it's advertising. Was heavily misspec'd in the campaign ties in 2023. The components, but delivered 2021 mid-range performance levels. Explain why it's the slowest in your tests, not just older. It was never built for the specs they promised. And then it says something like, this is the AI part, because it doesn't really know from what we've known what this thing could do. But now, okay, so the point of this is, again, not to cause a ruckus or anyone to get upset with any handheld or any company, you know. But me personally, I really didn't know DDR5X, whatever. I didn't know how that would really translate versus the slower RAM speed, because the entire time I was using the slower RAM speed. This is actually the fastest RAM speed. It's faster than the Y700. So what did we learn? Like Zoo would say, we learned that we've been bamboozled, but what does it matter? Lying is wrong. You shouldn't lie, number one. We all know that. But at the end of the day, well, I guess we'll never know unless you, like I said, get a red magic. Because every time besides this app, I use the CPDT app, which was recommended. I tried other apps, and I did this all on the Odin 3 just to really find out, right? And I'll show you on my own 3. Every app besides this app, right, to see the C26. Okay. So it beat the Y700 almost like in everything, but mostly like it's just a little faster, which is crazy sauce, according to this test with the RAM, you know. It's just crazy because yesterday I was upset because I thought people are going to get an Odin 3 that had slower speeds than this. And I thought this had better RAM than a device that you could get coming in the mail. But it turns out this has the slowest speeds, and it's not even what they advertised. It's like, you know what? We could do it on the Retroid Pocket. We could do it on the Mini, because I think that still has juice, okay? Because I did it on the Odin 2 Mini. Odin 2 Mini and the Max are like the same. And these two, the RAM inside, for the most part, it's very identical. There was no performance difference. But these were like 20. This was 26, and then this was 18. And then the Mini was like just made it to 19. So it's still on par with the 18, you know? And there's less RAM in the Mini. There's 12, there's 16 here. So I'll go download this app one more time, and we'll see. You know, it only has 6 gigs of RAM, and I'm not like an expert with this testing, because you're supposed to do an equation to figure out, and I'm not doing that, but I'm sure you guys know it already. But out of curiosity, because we have all these devices here, we can at least just see you know, how much slower this is, you know. And it probably won't take that long because there's less RAM, but let's see. This is really slow. But let me see. Okay. So so it's between these two because it got a max of like 10 gigs down. So it could be LPDDR4 or even LPDDR3. Low end, possible even. So modern, that kind of RAM that's been advertised for a while, like this whole thing, I've seen this so many times, right? But that's what it's supposed to be, I guess, 50 gigabytes a second. And I mean, that's fine for what the Mini is. It's just, you know, it's hard to say, you know. But yeah, so the point is that the Conqueror, the Pocket to us, the RAM at least, is fine. It's just a little slower, you know, 20 gigs versus 26 versus the Y700, which was just at 25, not even 24 point something. And then the Odin 2 Max has the max of 18 gigs copying, so it's the slowest. But everything it tested on with AI says that it's not what it was advertised when it was released on Indiegogo. But I'm saying that 5300 megahertz is something that we've seen a lot in the past. And like right now with this, right? AYN, they said, they said what they said because they had to own up to it, right? They're like, yeah, we took it down because, obviously we're not going to be able to get that kind of RAM. All right. But you lied to us for years. And it doesn't really, let's be real, it doesn't really matter. Okay? Because I don't have a handheld with actually that kind of RAM. I don't. These are the top of the line. Even the Evo is like a little better than the Odin 2, but it doesn't have this RAM. And this, it says that it has like single channel. It could be single channel or it could be dual channel, whatever. But if it's single channel, it could be the LDDR5 and just like the basic. But it's not what it's advertised, the 5X or whatever, 5300 megahertz. It's not that. So either way, when you look at it, it's still a good device. You guys, you can look at it again and you let me know, because I'm pretty sure someone got the same results or similar results to me with the Ultra, and you guys can let me know. But this is the fastest according to this test with RAM speed in all my devices, at least the top end ones. So that does make me happy. And it kind of makes me sad because, it's not what it was advertised. That was not what it was supposed to be advertised with RAM. And then how long have they been lying to us? And then on top of that, I can't think right now of a handheld that has that real stuff in it. It'd have to be a cell phone. I thought the Y700 would have better RAM in it because it's a tablet, and it's Lenovo, they're, well known. I feel like there would be a bigger brand than AYN or AINTEC or whatever, but their RAM's actually slower than this. So it's all very confusing now. But I'm going to end this video and I'm going to make another video just straight up going to Switch. We're just going to emulate. But the point of the story is that the Ryan Retro situation is, I can't describe that other than you've seen the results that I got on the Ultra model from the Indiegogo. Okay, I don't have Ryan Retro's my wife just dropped something. I have Ryan Retro's Odin Max that AYN sent him to do that test. But if you guys can, you should leave him a comment, tell him to download that, and tell him to do the RAM speed check to see what he gets. And I think Russ got something too, that I think might have been higher than this. So I don't know if it was in those review units. And again, those review units could have been made obviously well before these, pre-order units were made, and they could have had the better RAM. I don't know if it was the LDDR5X RAM, but it could have been a better version of the RAM that we got. But to be quite honest, as rare as it is, it was, it's a lie. So just get over it. The point is that the Odin 3 is the best. It's the fastest with the RAM. We'll see what AYANEO does with the Elite, right? The Conqueror Elite. But then I heard also today's just been yesterday and today has just been just horrible for emulation or these handhelds, because it's just getting disappointing. I don't care and I don't want to know now, but it's important that you guys know the truth. And I found out today that the Conqueror Elite's they're not going to do anything, or they're not going to release it till March. Are you kidding me? That's such a whatever. whatever. Just do it right. Give them good thermals, and the Conqueror Elite will still be either number 1 or number 2 handheld of the year because it's got this chip, it's got the form factor. They need to put the putty like they did in the Pocket 2S in the Elites no matter what, just do it and make sure it's a lot of it. You know, the only thing is, you know, use the same kind of RAM they put in the Odin 3 because it's like it'd be, I don't think they would use anything else, but if they use this RAM, and I'll show you guys too, like the Conquer. So 26, 24, 20, and then 20. Same thing with the Pocket S. Okay, it's not a huge difference, but it is the difference. And then the people that understand all this and do the math to figure out what type of RAM it is, you can figure it out. It's going to be slower than this. This still beats this, and it beats it not by like a wide margin, but it beats it. And then, you know, the Y700 compared to this, they're like neck and neck, but the Odin 3 comes on top. But if you go to compare this to that, besides just the chip, the RAM, it blows this away. And at the same time, both these things, we'll even put this to the side because they took it down, right? It took it down. But that's still on the Indiegogo, which you just Google it. Just Google Odin 2, Indiegogo, like I just did, you'll find it. And it says the LDDR5X 128. 256 512 lies. 8 12 16 gigs lie. Well, that's true. I mean, the storage is true too, but the RAM, the speed, the LDDR 5X, it's not. It's DDR4 for sure. So it sucks because I don't know how that could improve things because it's not any of these handhelds. But I look at it this way, like this handheld, I will never get rid of it, you know? I like this a lot. Like I've grown to like this a lot. Even the small form factor, you know? This handheld's luxury, and this is the combination of everything of all of these 3 handhelds into this. Like that's why I love the Conqueror so much. But I'm never gonna get rid of that. Like I don't care. I'm never gonna get rid of that. But when I think about it, you know, I wasn't, and I'll be honest, I wasn't one of the people on Indiegogo pre-ordering the Odin 2. And if I was, you know, and two years later I found out this shit was a lie, you know, because of this. And they're like, oh yeah, RAM shortage. Like they have a reason to blame the misleading information for the Odin 3. Like they do. And they did take it down. Like, you know, props to AYN for doing that the day before they went live, right? So everyone's going to double check to see what's going on or to make sense of that. No. You know? But the Odin 2 is still up there, man. 2 years later with saying that, and it's not true. It's the slowest. And here I was thinking when I was coming home from work, I was like, man, my Odin 2 has better RAM than my Odin 3. Oh, man. No, it does not. It does not. So, to make you guys feel better, I'm not going to hate on devices or companies anymore. But I do feel like they shouldn't do that. Because, to me, you know, I'm an idiot. Like, I don't know how the frequency of the RAM, other than it being the highest. And actually, like I said, a lot of these handhelds were advertised with like the 5300 megahertz, not just the Odin 2, not just the Odin 3. Like I feel like I've seen it in AYANEO handhelds too. Could be wrong. But I feel like that's just top of the line RAM. And like the more RAM you have, you know, especially with an Android device, you know, nothing's going on in the background, you got no other apps working, and you're just trying to emulate a game on a handheld based with Android, it's like, I want the fastest RAM. So who knows what the possibilities actually are, you know? And it's weird because I don't know. Well, I'll have to do more research, but Actually, I'll have to do more compares. Like, it's hard. I don't have. I could use my phone, I guess. I was gonna say I could test my phone, but it only has 12 gigs of RAM. You see, like, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to describe. I would have to have. I think I would need a Red Magic phone or something, or some sort of legit Elite, or an Elite Gen 5 phone with real RAM that is the truth versus everything else, which is a lie, to really see the difference. And I don't know if there's much of a difference because these things hold up on their own. Like, these two are amazing, and these are keen of 2025. They should have came out earlier. This should have came out earlier. This should have came out at the beginning of 2025. The chip itself should have just been a 2025 chip. It's a good chip. It's going to be a 2026 chip. But the way the turnip drivers are coming for just Switch alone, like, this is what people are doing. You know, it's the Elite is now taking over because now we have the most powerful. We have the picture being put out with multiple drivers coming out, and they're all experimental, but they're working enough where it's like, oh yeah. So, and that's great and everything. And I guess that's it. Just funny because I was really upset that my unit was going to have slower RAM, and I just accepted it at work. It's like, nope, they didn't make, there's no exceptions. I got the slower RAM too. And someone said they had the Ultra and they got this score, and I got the exact same score when I got home. I was like, man. I was like, okay, well, let's see what the difference is so we can compare and contrast this and make a video of it so we could show the people the difference. And I started with the Odin 2 Max. I was like, what? And then I did the Conqueror and the Pocket S2 because I was like, what is the difference between the RAM speeds with these devices? I need to know because I feel like one is outperforming the other one. I don't know if it is. It sometimes does, sometimes doesn't. Let's see, at least the RAM is the same, and it is. So that's good. But I feel like these two were both advertised, at 5300. I could be wrong. We know the Odin 2 was definitely advertised as 5300 megahertz, so why wouldn't these be why wouldn't AYANEO do it the same thing, right? But in reality, it's not, but it's faster than the Odin 2. And the Odin 2's RAM is like 2021 RAM, from at least what AI is saying, or the speeds. So, I don't know. It's annoying. But if you got an Odin 3, you still win, man. You still win. It's just I can't speak on the difference between Ryan Retro's AYN, like Russ's AYN Odin 3s that were sent for review, and the ones that we got. I think the review units were just made earlier, and they were used. And again, it's not even 5300, but it's like, I think, slightly higher than whatever they used in here, which is not 5300 either, but it's higher than 42 or just at 42. I don't know. I mean, you guys will, like, the people that understand this the most will do the explaining in the comments, but I figured at least I could tell you the truth about the other devices. I mean, not everyone has a Pocket 2S Pro, let's be real. The 5 other people, everybody did order a Conqueror, so I wanted to see if there was a difference between these two, because there's a huge price difference. No, the RAM is the same, thank God, right? But it's slower than the RAM that's in here, but it's faster than the RAM that's in these, if that gives any sort of preference. Now, I got the Thor too, right? That's been a hot topic. Let's turn this bad boy on. Hopefully it has some juice. If not, I'll plug it in. Now I got the Thor, and I can't remember what they were saying about the Thor, man. If now they're using the slower RAM, or if it was a thing before, we'll find out right now, right? Because I don't use this thing enough. And look how freaking cool this thing is, man. I keep forgetting, like, it's just so uncomfortable. And I know there's so many people that love this, and I get it. I love it too. I just don't know what to do with it, because besides a 3DS game, which is amazing, but at the same time, it's like I'm never playing a 3DS game. Oh, and this thing has an update. Maybe that's why too. I gotta charge it. It's supposed to do this. Joey's virtual handhelds, he was telling me. Or maybe it did it because no, that's the startup screen. I know there's an update to the Thor though, and hopefully we don't have to do it right away. Okay. Alright, let me go to Play Store. I like having it like a big Game Boy. That's how a dual stick Game Boy should be. It's taking forever. Let me pause it. Alright. Let's find out. Yikes. So, again, I don't know how to read this or do the equation, but I do see the 18. I mean, to be fair, it's like same as the Mini, 19-ish. The Odin had the lowest 18 score. But that's going to translate, if I show a picture of this to AI, they're going to be like, yeah, this one has not what it's advertised either. And like what's great about this app, it just stays on. So here we can do a comparison. So it got 13 read. The write is 55 megabytes. The write on the Odin 3 was 2 gigs or over 2 gigs. Read 2.5, 1.5, not bad. But the 26, the 18, so this has the slow memory too. And there you have it, boys. Like, I don't know what the announcements was about the Thor. I think it was moving forward they were going to use the slower RAM. Well, guess what? They already used the slower RAM. It's been used. I got this a while ago, right? This wasn't a unit that just came to my door. It's been collecting dust, to be quite honest. Unfortunately, like, it deserves more love, and I just don't know what to do with it. I really don't. But now I know the truth. So again, it doesn't really matter. These things, the Odin 2, the HN2, whatever, it's gonna do everything. It's gonna perform well. There's no complaints. There's no complaints about that at all. I love that thing. It's just I didn't know the truth about the RAM speeds. Like, there's no reason to lie or advertise something if it's not that. And I asked the AI specifically, okay, is there a way, like, it could have been misleading, but did they mean something else versus the LDDR5X 4, were they referring to the SoC maybe, or were they like, and so it's like I sent the screenshot and they're like, no, this is regarding the internal memory, the 12 or the 8, 12, 16. And they're like, therefore that is false advertisement according to the speeds that you just got. And I was like, wow, okay. So just get over it, because they've been lying to you for a while. And the Odin 3 is the fastest. It's the best handheld. Watch out, AYANEO. I know you guys can't hear this right now, but it's the best handheld. Your Conqueror Elite needs to catch up because it's the best, fastest. But they're all lies. None of them are 5300 megahertz. And the people that understand that app and read and do the equations, why didn't no one bring this up a while ago about any of these? And if someone did, how come it didn't get like here, like a 3D wildlife benchmark test? Why wasn't that a go-to test for RAM if they were jipping us on RAM this entire time? So, I mean, the Evo, I did it on the Evo too. And again, what's great is that we could do it again. We'll do test. Your GX Gen 3. See, it was good, man. It's got that whatever that 20 gig shit, or sorry, that 20 gig stuff these have. It's got it too. Some version of LDDR4 that's high. Okay, we'll go. I don't feel like testing the Ace. Like the Ace is probably going to be the same. Like the Evo's oldest out of these three, right? So there's no going to be. But then again, you never know, right? We got to find out. Let's do the Ace. And then the people that understand the RAM speeds and all that and like do the equations and stuff to like figure this out, you guys just watch this video and you could just let us know. But I'm pretty sure it's all some version of LDDR4. And then the Odin, I think, from what AI is saying, has LDDR5, but not X, obviously. And it's like single channel, or it could be LDDR4X dual channel. I don't know. So I'm not going to talk about stuff I don't know. I just know that this was a lie. This was like, oops, my bad, that was a mistake. And they took it down. Let's not tell them the truth, though, about what's coming in it, but it'll be all right. And it is, because it's the fastest. It's really good, actually, compared to even the Y700, right? But there's been a lot of handhelds advertising that specific RAM. And as you can see, I'm blowing these out of the water. Like, the truth is coming out. So let's go here. And again, I'm not trying to cause people to get upset, right? Because it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It does matter, but it doesn't matter versus what these things are capable of doing with just not what advertised memory, you know? And it's just like they shouldn't lie. They shouldn't lie about stuff like that. Like AYANEO with their sneaky high-speed internet. So yeah, you could say it's high-speed internet, and you could say that with a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi antenna, that's fine. But at the same time, it's like, you shouldn't lie, though. Alright, so the Evo did better, but it's in the same range. It's like just 20. It's under 20. So these all have the same version of AYANEO's LDDR4, which is good. It's better than the HN2. It's better than this. It's better than this, and it's better the Thor that's up there. It's probably better than the Portal. Let's do the Portal. I'm excited. Are you excited? Because I feel like the Portal is something special. It holds a special heart, or a special place in my heart, just like it does with everybody. Look at all that dust. I joke around about my Odin 3 collecting dust, and over here, reality, it's the Portal. Don't ask me why. It's just, I don't care for something that needs a case all the time. And I never really took it out of the case once I got the case. And the case is, I should have picked black, to be quite honest. Yeah, I don't miss those. But I do miss these. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They did it right with these buttons. The Odin 3's buttons are... This is okay. I mean, it's good. But this is bad. Because of this. Yeah. But these... They should just put a Snapdragon HN3 in here. And it would have been like so awesome. Whatever. But our H24, it would have been so awesome if they just told the truth and gave us the RAM they advertised too, right? Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. All right, let me go to Play Store. This will be the last test. It's just interesting, you know? It's not to get anyone upset again. I'm not trying to rile people up. That's not what I'm doing. But I just happen to have all these, so it's like, wouldn't you want to know? I mean, I do. Apparently, you just can't trust these companies. Ooh, it's going good. I feel like the Portal's gonna break through. Like, the Portal's gonna come on top. Not of the Odin 3, but like with the AYANEOs. It's gonna be the 22. Because it was a revision, basically, of the Odin 2 with everything we wanted the Odin 2 to have that was missing when the Odin 2 came out. Yeah, you can see it right there. Okay, well, again, the RAM is better. It's on par with these, right? Now, it's not a huge difference. This was 18. This is pretty much 20, 19.3. So it's a little slower, but I'd say it's on par with the AYANEO devices, right? It's like the same score the Pocket 2S got. The real difference is the Odin 3, or I'm sorry, the Odin 2. It's got the slowest speeds. But what does it really matter? It doesn't. It's just all proof to show that nobody has that RAM. And it doesn't matter because these high-end handhelds, like this is still a high-end handheld. That's a high-end handheld. This is a high-end handheld. This is blah, blah. The Odin 3 has the fastest. Okay, so I know I have the Ultra, the 24 gigs, but if I had a 12 gig model, you know, it's still getting those types of speeds. It's you still have, you know, accordingly the handheld with the fastest RAM. That's actually a handheld. I mean, that's why I wanted to test the Y700 because it's a tablet. I figured they put the real LDDR5 RAM in there, but no, they didn't. They put whatever they used in here, which they advertised, or I shouldn't say advertised, which they announced was slower, you know? Whatever AYN said they put versus, because they couldn't get the 5300 megahertz ones because of the RAM shortage. The Y700 came out a year ago. Who's talking about that? Oh. So I don't know. I know there's more to it, like I said. You guys that understand that more than I do, you can let me know in the comments, but let me know not just about this. Let me know about the other ones that you see, like with the Conqueror, with the Portal, the Evo. Like if you see something that I don't, let me know. But tell me that's not crazy that they advertised that and they got everybody. But look, I mean, look how great this handheld is known for. That's why there was so much hype for this handheld, right? And it never had it. And no one cares because how would they tell without doing a test like that? And why wasn't that made aware? Like, I don't know. Maybe because I didn't pre-order that and I just bought it on my own from the website, and I bought it again and I bought it again. I actually sold my 2 Pros because I was like, I just don't need these. But you know what I mean? Like I maybe 2 years ago they said, hey, by the way, they don't have that actual RAM in there, just so you know. But yeah, but why would they keep it on? Like, why would they keep it up, right? So you guys let me know. I just thought this would be interesting, and I feel bad for yesterday because, like I said, someone got mad at me. I always try to piss anyone off, but especially with like AYANEO, it's like I'm not trying to piss anyone off. I'm just trying to understand what, like, my Conqueror. Why can't like it reach scores like my Pocket 2? It's like I have both of them, so I have the ability to test both of them. Is what I'm saying. It's like I keep thinking they should be exactly the same, just different form factor, and they're not. You know. And after I improved the Conqueror with the thermals and stuff, I figure it would be more on par. And it is only like in the GPU range that I set it to, between 835 and 903, it can outdo the Pocket S2 Pro. But anything else, the Pocket 2S will come ahead. So I don't understand. But that wasn't to piss anyone off or you know, another knock at AYANEO. Is just like I'm just trying to understand why my unit doesn't just automatically work as well as my Pocket 2S Pro did. And it has a better screen, better ergonomics, right? It's a budget handle, but it's like $200 cheaper. So it's like I want it to work as good. So I don't understand. And that kills me. And then with this, I had no complaints about it whatsoever. And after, as you can see, that smudge line through the transparent plastic. After I updated or DIY'd the thermals, all I want to do is show this off, and I'm literally gonna make a video right after this to show switch off, because now that we got it out of the way, I do feel better because it does have the fastest speeds for RAM. It's just, you know, it's not what they advertise, but they apologize. But what is more curious is that if you think you had that RAM in any other device, you do not. So we're back where we started. We did a full circle, okay? And it was a lot of emotions and a lot of like drama that, truth be told, we could have just kept believing the lie and just kept it moving. But you guys should know the truth. And it's like, again, I have all these handhelds, you know, it's kind of disgusting. I try to get rid of a lot of them, and still have the ones I like a lot. But the point of the story is they lied to us a long time ago, so shame on them. And it's one thing with this, because I said they got away with it, but everything else, like even AYANEO, like I can't remember, but we could look it up, if AYANEO advertised at 5300 megahertz too. And I'm, again, not picking on AYANEO, I'm just saying when they advertise this stuff, they shouldn't. We'll do Pocket 2S, right? We'll do that because there's too much stuff going on with Conquer, and I'm not trying to put the Conquer down. I still love that handheld. Pocket 2S, Indiegogo. Let's go. Let's see if it's still up there. Of course it is. And then let's go to, okay. Because AYANEO is really slick now. They'll say like high speed RAM, or you know what I mean, like high speed Wi-Fi, but they won't tell you what specific Wi-Fi it is. But it's smart because, hey, you're not lying. They'll definitely say it's the Gen 3 G3 Gen 3 processor, right? Which is just a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 with the GPU clocked to 1050. All right, let's look. Here we go. We got the specs sheet up. All right. I mean, that's nothing of what we need to look at right now. It just has the configurations of RAM, but we'll keep looking. Oh yeah, right here. Okay. So again, this is not to piss anyone off with, you know, AYANEO. Okay, I'm not picking on these companies. I'm just saying I didn't know the S word about true LPDDR5X RAM. I just see this number, right? And I'm like, wow, 8 gigs, so fast, megabytes, 8,533 megabytes, full speed, high frequency memory, UFS 4.0, So let's do this. And this was what, the Pocket 2S? We're not picking on the Conquer. Okay, let's just see. Is this correct? According to the Pocket 2S Pro results. And then we're going to click our image. And let's see what it says. Okay. Don't get mad. This is just what I know AI is wonky, but I just screenshot, right? It says, looking at your Pocket 2S Pro benchmark compared, and I took a picture of each handheld and I titled it what handheld it is, and just to make a note of it and then compare all of them. And it says again, you know, that's the 20.75 is like, again, what these handhelds are getting. False. It's performing that. So again, I don't know this stuff, so I'm not trying to, if I'm not going to be the guy who, like, someone said, you don't know, if you don't know what you're talking about, don't talk about it. I don't. Okay, I'm just going based off, I'm asking simple questions. I'm taking screenshots of what's advertised, and I'm just saying, you know what the frequency of 5300 megahertz is, right, AI? Well, with these test results, can you just compare that to what that says and advertised? Can you just tell me what this means? And I'm sure a lot of you can figure this out, but it's straight up telling me that it's... Oh wait, hold on. It's saying your signal reads faster. Suggests US 4.0. Likely correct here. Well, yeah. If you get the base model, you get the 3.1. We all know how AYANEO does it. But I think AYN does that now too, which is horrible. But anyways, your device has 902 gigs. Okay. We don't care about that. What's actually correct? Exceeds claim. Maybe that has something to do with it. But the RAM is definitely not. False. Should be 50 plus gigabytes. It says, I don't know. Don't get mad at me. And then GPU, Snapdragon G3 Gen 3. I mean, it doesn't know because it's AI. It's like likely correct. Here you go. It's doing this stuff where it's like, this doesn't matter and you don't know what you're talking about. But even if you do, who cares? Yep. Alright, so good thing for AYANEO is that this part, it exceeds. Like it says the UFS 4.0 is 4,000 and the Pocket 2S Pro got 16 gigs a second. So that's literally 4 times as fast. So that is, I don't know what this means. You guys can explain it to me. Was it sequential read speed? Now let's do the Conqueror, because again, I have the Conqueror. I have to know now because I'm interested. Because hey, AYANEO is AYANEO, but if they did the Conqueror and the Pocket 2S, Konkr FIT Indiegogo, let's go. Okay. All right, we gotta find that RAM. All right, here we go. I don't know if it's going to be able to pick it up, but this is what I'm talking about. I'm not making it up. I see it all the time. So, oh wait, that's the Elite. My bad. It's tricky because they could just not put it on the G3 Gen 3. And then they have a loophole there. Yeah, maybe it's not on the G3 Gen 3, and I'll give it to them if that's the case for the Konkr FIT, because it's only... Well, hold on. Well, I don't know. You could take it for whatever it is, but right there it says, the Elite, right? And then comparison based on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 mobile platform referred to Qualcomm's official data, So I mean, we'll just look a little more to see. Like they'd love to talk about stuff and repeat it, but I don't know if they're going to. I'll have to keep looking here. Hold on, I'll pause it. Okay, here we go. Well, here, let's do this. Let's go here, go here. All right. All right, so G3 Gen 3. Does say it. That makes sense because they do this in the past, you know. So let's see if I could do a screenshot of this big enough where the AI can read it, and we'll see if it told the truth again. Okay, so same type deal. We'll go over it. You know, I did the same question, and it's like same as Pocket 2S Pro. Claim 20. Actually got slightly higher than the Pocket 2S Pro, but like, you know, whatever point. And false, you know. It's not what it's advertised to be. But the read speeds, see, it was like 16 on the Pocket 2S Pro, and it's about 16 here, which again, they're advertising 4,000. So hey, I don't know what sequential read means, so you guys could tell me, but so it does match. So it's kind of true, right? So they did this thing again where, you know, of course that's right, and yeah, likely because G3 Gen 3, but that's false. So again, and I don't know if this means, you know, because I know there's dual and single channels. So I don't know. I'm just going off what I see, and then that test that I did on every single handheld, and then just relaying the information to AI and just having it tell me in its own opinion if this matches up to what they're advertising, and it's coming back wrong every single time. With the AYANEO devices, the the UFS is exceeding, which is cool, and you know, the LDDR5X is completely wrong. So I guess I could look more into the Odin 2 Max, but I'm done with this. I don't want to, again, this is all interesting to me because I didn't know anything really about what was in each handheld, and I didn't know how you have to like figure this out, but you still have to do equation to like figure out what the type of RAM you have. But we're just going to go based off like the copying speeds and everything else. You know, it doesn't come close to what it's advertised. Not even this does. 26, you know, whatever point, whatever. You know, and again, AYAN came out and said it's not, you know, it's the slower one, the 42 whatever. But the 53 is like 50 plus, right? So and this is like half of that with whatever version that they put in here. So 26 is half. This is less than half. This is less than half. This is less than half. And these are faster than this. Don't get it twisted. This one too. That one too. The Portal and the Thor are kind of like on par with here. Poor Odin 2 Max is so old now. I don't care. I still love you. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. So I'm going to end the video. You could take it. Let me know what you think. Again, I really don't know too much about the RAM stuff, but I just knew that they shouldn't have lied. And they did come out and like say that why they did it, but they never said that they were giving us the slower speeds until just now because we brought it up. But they did lie, and so did AYANEO. They all lied to us. They all advertised that RAM, which is not what you have in these handhelds according to these tests. It's not LDDR5X or whatever. It's just not. It's much slower than that. So that's what I got from this, and that's what I hope you get from the video too. It's just like, yeah, it's probably not a big deal because these are a beast. This is still a beast. This is a monster, right? These are all good except Pocket S1. It's just more of a streaming device because it gets too hot. And the Thor is just a dual screen OLED handheld. It can't be beat that. And the Portal is the Portal. I mean, it's enough explained, right? And the Pocket Ace it's a freaking, it is still the best mini handheld. Hence why I want another mini handheld to come out. It's gonna be really hard to beat the Ace, but we'll see. I don't know. It sucks to be lied to. If you haven't been lied to, now you know what it feels like. And the sad part is that we won't know what it's like to have that kind of RAM, or what it could have done, or who knows, you know? What kind of big performance jump would there have been? I don't think there would have been too much, or if anything. But I can't speak on stuff I don't know. I just do know that I found out a lot of information, and I did find out that a lot of the times that was all a lie about the RAM speeds. So don't ever get hyped about that ever again. And you know what? It's probably better with the RAM shortage, because they were still getting your ass with lies from before. So it shouldn't matter now, because whatever they put in here is still faster than everything else. And it could be just the chip to help with that, but I think it's the actual RAM, right? It's a specific version. Or maybe it's, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't want to talk about stuff I don't know. But I just thought that was interesting. And going on to the Indiegogo website, they should really take those down. Like, they took this down smart. They apologized, not even, but they admitted that they did because they couldn't deliver. And it is now, again, full circle, fastest handheld, best handheld. Until the Conqueror Elite comes out, and we'll see how that goes, because they're taking their sweet time. But they lied, and then they made it sound like the RAM in here was going to be worse than what was advertised, right? And this is the point. The RAM in here is worse than this. This is faster. So this whole thing, again, was like a full circle. There was no point to get upset. But at the same time, what I hope you take from this video is that if you know RAM and RAM speeds and how it could affect performance, let me know, because they lied to us for a very long time. And I just showed you the proof, like with the websites. I don't know about the test results. You guys can bicker with that in the comments, but according to what the AI said, it's like it's supposed to be 50 plus for copying. And we're getting 26, and this is the fastest handheld I have Android at this moment. Faster than Y700 according to that test with the RAM. So you guys be the judge. You let me know. But these, like everything else, is pretty much on par, except the Odin 2 Max has the slowest. And I don't understand. So I will say this. I bought this. They had a sale last summer, and it was like, for the Max model, it was like $379. And it's still a lot of money, but I had extra money saved up because I was, waiting for the next big thing. And I think that was after I pre-ordered this, maybe, or it was in the process of pre-orders. But I was like, I have extra money. I was like, I'm going to get another Odin 2, and I'm getting a Max version, right? Because I had the Portal, but I love the form factor. I still do. So I got the Max, right? They could have had a sale, because they could have just put cheaper ass RAM in there. Who knows? Right? Maybe, obviously, I thought it was due to the Portal, to the Mini, to everything else they were selling. But they could have just put cheaper parts in this one. Who knows? I don't want to think about it. But yeah. I hope this was informative. And again, yesterday, I do apologize. Didn't mean to upset anybody. I know I did with one guy, but I was just getting mad because it felt like they were gypping us. And long story short, they did, but in a good way. And it's messed up to say it that way, because this is still the best. But it's all been lies. This is lies, that's lies, this is lies, but this is still the best out of all these lies. So we're going to go right back to emulation now that we cleared all the lies up, right? Because now it does not matter moving forward. Just don't believe what they say, at least about the RAM. Hopefully they stick to telling the truth about the chip, which they can't lie about, really. But I did try a bunch of apps on the Odin 3 to see what kind of RAM frequency it was, and it would not show, and I wonder why. So that one app does do tests and shows you what the speeds are, so you could just figure it out and do the math. So I just go based on the copying speeds, and it should be 50 and higher for 5300 megahertz. Clearly it's not here, right? And it's not here anywhere else. It's much slower. So maybe you guys could explain it better to me, but I thought that was interesting. I hope you like this video. I know it's super long, but it's kind of informative, because like I showed you, all these websites, they're advertising something that they're not putting in these handhelds, and I don't know what the difference would actually be. It could be like nothing. It could be very minor, but I wouldn't be able to really test it out or tell you because I have nothing to compare it to, because not even the Y700 has real RAM that's advertised. Let's go. Let's see if the Y700 before I end this, let's just see Y700 Gen 4. I don't know if it's an Indiegogo. It's not an Indiegogo because it's just like they launch it. Let's just go specs. I mean, we're gonna go straight to the website. 8.8 inch. Alright. UFS 4.1. We're not gonna go into that, because I don't care about the UFS. I'm sure that they did do that too. Or maybe it's 4.0, not 4.1. Who knows? No, they don't say it on here. Yeah. Oh, but the resolution's here. It's 1904 by 3040 pixels. So it's like, it's what, 3K or 2K? It's definitely not 2K. It's 3K. Maybe 3K? It's close to 3K? I'm not sure. 600 nits LCD. So you're not going to come out with the OLED. And it was released May 8th, 2025. In America. China was released way earlier than that. I don't know. It doesn't say on their website. So it's like hard if I ask Google, like, what's the RAM speeds of the Y700, because it'll give me something generic. I want something like with actual proof, you know, of what it was advertised, not like, let's see, Y700 Legion. Oh, this is Legion Go. What? Lenovo Y700 Gen 4 tablet. What is the type of RAM in the tablet? Okay, well, it's Google says. I can't trust Google, but it says LPDDR5X RAM. Let's see if I can do it. I mean, that's Google, though. That's not trustworthy. So let's go again. Geek Willis. I'm not gonna. This video's gone on way too long. I'm not gonna like go off a website. I thought Lenovo would show it, but they may have not. Either way, it's not what is advertised, because that's not just like the Odin 3. So let me know. You guys know more about this type of stuff. Let me know. But for anybody that was worried about getting slower speeds, you're definitely not. You're getting faster speeds. It's just, they really gotta stop lying. I don't know. But that's enough drama. Let's get back to gameplay. Okay, next video, we're doing Switch on the Odin 3. We're back, baby. No more drama. Who cares? We're moving on. You all should kind of care, but I'm kind of happy because this is still now the best. It hurts, but now you know, everyone knows the truth, so it hurts less. So I'll put it to you that way. But keep that in mind. So just imagine if somehow they did that. The RAM is very important, but if they could do that with like the chip or something, I mean, obviously we would all figure it out right away. And with the RAM, they kind of got away. And I told you, even AYN, whatever they do to hide this stuff, I used 3 to 4 different types of apps. Granted, they were free, you know, with ads, but they wouldn't tell me what type of frequency. It just said RAM and like what it is. And then like go to settings to run to see frequency, or to do this that I normally do on this app on a cell phone. You could not do it on here because of how they set this up. So that CPDT app will run a test and will give you it, just not like you have to do the math to figure it out. But if you go just based off what it's supposed to be, 50 gigs plus just for the copying aspect for 5300 megahertz LPD DR5X, whatever. And these are getting all 20s, and this gets 26, and this gets less than 2018. There's your proof. Very sad. But at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters, because we're getting like what I like. Everything I've showed off on these things is amazing to me, like, right? But I don't know what it could have been with that type of RAM. So maybe you can explain that to me, how much it would affect if it did at all. But either way, they should not lie, because I feel like we paid for something that wasn't true. Even if it was like $30 to $40 to $50 more than what they could have advertised it to actually be. But you guys let me know. This video again is way too long. You guys have a good one. Take care.